Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to calculate slope, which they also call rate of change, from a linear function using the TI-Nspire calculator. Now, for this specific video, we're going to go ahead and stick to 2 points or more. There are other types of representations that they might give you, which is a graph or also an equation. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and stick with 2 points or more because we are going to use the spreadsheet application that we can find in the TI-Nspire. Now, if you take a look over to where I have the TI-Nspire, the application that I'm talking about is this one right here in the middle, which is the spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and open one up. And of course, what this allows you to do is input any table of values that we have. As long as you have 2 points or more, we can go ahead and calculate the slope for a linear function. Let me go ahead and start with the first example, which is 2 sets of ordered pairs. Now, one of the things we do have to remember is that on an ordered pair, the first values are always your x values, and the second value in your ordered pair is always going to be the y values. So when we use this application, we have to make sure that we label our table. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use x and y. I'm going to use x and y for the entire video. And I'm going to go ahead and put the 2 sets of ordered pairs that we have for the first example. Now, in this case, we have 2 and 5 for my x's, and I have -4 and 8 for my y's. After we input our values, what we do is we go ahead and press menu. We're going to do 4 for statistics, 1 for stat calculations, and 3 for linear regressions, which is menu 413. Once we get this pop-up window, we go ahead and list X for X list and Y for Y list, because remember, we did label our table X and Y. You don't have to change anything else. We press OK, and we should get our slope. If you take a look at this screen, what we're looking for is M represents slope in algebra. So we're going to go ahead and get that 4, and the slope or rate of change for these set of ordered pairs should be 4. Let me go ahead and try the other example. Now, one of the awesome things that I want to go ahead and point out is that once you went through the menu 413 and you have this window, you can actually go back. I'm sorry, I went on the PowerPoint. You can go back and you could actually change the values here, and the calculator will actually change the value based on the new points that you're inputting. So this one is -3, -947, and 2 -3. So my slope is for this function -4.54, and it's a repeating irrational number, which is a repeating decimal. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off like that. Now, for this example, I'm going to go ahead and open up a new one. For this example, we have a table, but you treat it the same way. We go ahead and put X and Y. Of course, it's going to pop up the old values that we had. You can easily write over these. And I'm going to go ahead and put my X values under the X list, and I'm going to go ahead and type in my Y values under the Y list. So the thing to remember here, since it's linear, we're going to go ahead and do menu 413. So menu for statistics, 1 stat calculate, and 3 for linear regression. We do X for X, Y for Y, and we press enter. As you can see, our slope for this one, for this linear function, which is represented by a table, it's going to be 0.75. So one of the ways that they could apply this in real world situations or problems that you might see on a state test is the following examples. I'm going to go ahead and go over 3 examples. And as you can see here, we do have a table. And one of the things that before I read this example, I want to point out that they're looking for the rate of change, which in other words means that they're looking for the slope. So they're actually looking for the same thing. Now they're applying it to a real world situation. So in this case, the table shows the linear relationship between the average height in feet of trees on a tree farm and the number of years since the trees were planted. And of course, they give us a table of values. And the question reads, what is the rate of change of the average height in feet of the trees of the farm with respect to the number of years since the trees were planted? All they want here is they want us to look for the rate of change. And of course, I do have my table. Let me go ahead and remember, guys, what I told you. Once you have this open, you can actually input the values again. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and close it. That way we can get a little bit of practice. And of course, I'm going to label my table X and Y. I'm going to go ahead and type in my the list for X, which is 1, 3, 5, 10, and 15. And then I'm going to go ahead and input my Y values on the Y list. This should give me the slope for this situation. Let me go ahead and do menu 413 and X for X, Y for the Y list, enter, enter, and we have the slope for this situation is 3. Now you do have to be very careful because as you can see, we do have the 3, the 7. We have B and C, which is 3 and 7. The B represents the y-intercept, which is not what we're looking for, but the M represents the slope. This is what we're looking for. So the answer for this situation should be 3 feet per year. That's how much the trees are growing. This is another example that you might see. Now, in some cases, they do not provide the points, but you could always just look for some points and then use these points to calculate the slope. In this case, they're giving us a graph with the points already there. And what they're looking for is they're actually looking for the rate of change again. What is the rate of change, which actually represents the slope. So we're going to do the same process. Let me go ahead and open up a new spreadsheet. Oh, let me go ahead and close this one because I'm going to, once I type in X and Y, I will get the points again. That's why I closed it so I can start off with a new spreadsheet application. I'm going to go ahead and type in the new values, which is -3 for the X and 5. And then I have 1.4 and 3 for the values of Y. We do the same thing, menu 4, 1, 3. We put X for the X, Y for the Y list, and my slope is 0.2. So of course, this is not multiple choice. This would be a griddable question, but of course, it wouldn't be hard to do because we're using our calculator to do this. So my slope for this situation is equal to 0.2. Now for our last example, it's the same situation, same thing. The only thing is that they didn't give us a graph. The only thing they provided us with is the ordered pairs. But of course, I'm going to go ahead and start a new spreadsheet. Go ahead and label my table X and Y. And then I'm going to go ahead and input the two values that they're giving us for the X and the two values for Y. And of course, they don't use the words rate of change. They use the word slope. And I'm going to go ahead and do menu 4, 1, 3. I put X for the X list, Y for the Y list, and OK. The slope for the situation is -2, which I have right there. So the correct answer for this multiple choice question is -2. So this concludes the video, guys. Hope you liked it. Make sure to give me a like, share this video if you know anybody that needs help. Of course, this is using the TI-Nspire. I will give you another video how to do this using the slope formula. Thank you. See you guys soon.